Hello, I'm currently in London now, so I'm sorry for that, but I will try to present my part of the Philip Stark story and the Alberto Alessi story through this way. I will talk about the end user, and I want to start out with a quote which is from Philip Stark, but I think it also is applicable to Alberto Alessi's vision. And it is, no design works unless it embodies ideas that are held in common by the people for whom the object is intended. And I mean with this quote that for me it shows the user-centered designers that both Alberto Alessi and Philip Stark are. First, Alessi. I will not only talk about Alberto Alessi, but more the company Alessi that Alberto Alessi led from the 70s on. And I will start with the following phrase. Alberto Alessi is a leader in presenting those objects that holds an idea and a semantic dimension. A language component that goes beyond color or shape and speaks not only to function but user desires. And I think, and this is embraces again this user-centered design that I talked about earlier. But Alessi is really trying to give the whole products they design a family, and they also have this name for it, family follows function. And they try to create more than just a product, but a whole story, and make a product more living, and that it starts to get a life on its own, and that you have like almost have a dialogue with your product. And this is for the end users quite new at that time, because products were really designed clean, like the Rams did, and like the less is more mentality. And here Alessi tried to engage the people in another way. In 2006, the Alessi company reclassified its products under 3 lines, and which came forward from the Alberto Alessi movement from the 70s, which changed from craftsmanship to mass production, where they tried to make not only products for the elite but also for the whole people. And they created 3 lines within their product line. And the first one was Adi Alessi, and Adi Alessi is a more academic and more pop art kind of line. And this product line is more the lower price line, where it's the price range is reachable for almost everybody. And but you also see this back in the materials and the colors that are used. You can often see the products are also more daily life products than the extraordinary products as the juicer from Philip Stark. The second line, which is a little bit more expensive and luxury, is the normal Alessi line. And Alessi is the historic brand company and continues to develop the best industrial mass production industry from the range of quality and design in a medium or a little bit maybe high price range. And this is just the classic Alessi range, which targets at again almost everybody, because it's even the high price is still quite affordable for all the users, although it might be a little bit expensive for them. And the last one, the most luxury line, is the Officina Alessi. And it's really exclusive, innovative and experimental line, which is almost only marked by small batches productions and often limited series. So, wrapping up about Alessi, I think that Alessi really tries to engage people through their products, and they want to tell a story, and that you can maybe almost start telling a story to your product, or the product tells a story to you. So you have this relationship. You start a relationship with your product, because the products have become iconic and almost personal and characteristic. Difficult word. I can show you that by, for example, these 2 objects. First, here the corkscrew, which is a lady, and at least you can see a lady shape in it, and it also has a happy face. And always this can be perceived as quite cheesy on one hand, and it really gives me a positive feeling, and it also has this nice curvy shapes, and it really tells so much more than a rigid and clean corkscrews you normally see. So this object is so different than the other products, and it also has symbolic value. as the lady, that it really starts, I will start to interact with it in another way than I would do with a normal corkscrew. So in that way already lets you reach something. But besides that, personally, because I see a smiling lady, I will act differently with it than I would do with a normal rigid corkscrew. The other example is, for example, this biscuit box, where the lid is on the inside has a fragrance of freshly baked biscuits. So when you open it, you have this traditional fresh baked biscuits from your grandmother feeling, which even like normal biscuits, from really cheap biscuits, will still engage you. Like, whoa, I've opened up the biscuit box, and everybody will start looking around like, oh, I smell something. And that means the biscuit box is up, so everybody will gather around the table. So this is also engaged and will engage people with this product, and not per se with the product, but with each other as well. And that will tell a story, and that's what Alessi really will try to reach to their end users. Okay, Philip Stark. I want to begin with the following line that Philip Stark said once, is that he said that he never talks to end users and doesn't read any design related or architectural magazines or books, which is, in my opinion, quite strange, because he claims to be a democratical and user-centered designer, where I always try to design for mass and for the general user. So a way to portray Philip Stark as a designer, but also how he wants to reach his end users, is by telling the story how he got his first job. He was 17 and he applied for a furniture design job at Pierre Cardin, which is a really famous French fashion designer, which was at that time one of the biggest fashion designers in the world. And he got the job. And he really soon got clear that he and Pierre Cardin had a completely different, opposite opinion about how design should be. Because he wanted to design 1 million chairs for €1, while Pierre Cardin wanted to design only one chair for €1,000,000. And as soon as he realized that the difference between the two of them, he directly quitted the job. Brings me to the next point, where I will quote Philip Stark again, because he has said so many interesting things in his whole life already. That he said he's not interested in design or architecture itself, and he means with that is that he's not interested in creating the object. Yes, it's part of his design and he recognizes it, but he's rolled into that way of telling his story, because what he's more interested in is engaging people, and he thinks that design is a beautiful way to do that. But this is also about his end users. He wants to engage his end users through his products, and he wants to send a message. And he's aware that although design is not maybe per se the best way to send the message, because he says a journalist can send a message and change the world with one article, and a singer can do it with one song, and a politician can do it with one law, while he has to build up a whole portfolio, a whole life, and to finally create one big message. And we are talking about it now, so he already managed to do that a little bit. Philip Stark's aim is to take the user on a voyage, like he would say it himself, where I create a bond with my product, and while I'm using it, my bond gets more rich. And it's not per se for one user, it's for everybody who he can reach. So it's not, he doesn't have a specific user, although his products are often not that cheap. So he already eliminates a certain amount of people, but it's not because of the price he asked, but just the manufacturing costs. And he sees that it's a role of the product to transport the user, of the people, out of the ordinariness of their daily lives, and especially with ordinary products, because they often express the ordinariness of your life. And by putting them in places which is supposed to make them more sexier or more beautiful, or just at least extraordinary. And a good way to express this is, is his Louis Ghost chair. I will show you here. It's a transparent plastic fiber chair, which is like a Victorian chair, but then he manufactured it in plastic and really playful. And that's Stark's way of engaging people. Because on one hand, he found it intriguing to design such a chic and a status object for in a mass production context. So that is also, you can also see that back in his when he was 17, when he quit the job, when he couldn't produce 1 million chairs for €1, but he had to do the opposite. And this is in one way doing that, and reach out to all people and give all the people the opportunity to have such a chair with a story, because it's on one hand it's the rich emperor of that time, but on the other hand it's a real cheap plastic chair, and in that way it has an interesting story, and it will engage people because you sit on two things on one in one. So that is a way how the end user is reached by Philippe Stark, in my opinion. I almost forgot. Have a nice class today, and I see you next week.